Welcome you all to the webinar on role of mathematics in COVID-19, organized by the IQAC of the Atmaram Sanatan Dharma College. On behalf of IQAC, I welcome the speaker of the webinar, Dr. Kuldeep Singh Patel, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mathematics, International Institute of Information Technology, Naya Raipur, Chhattisgarh. We are really honored to have you with us, sir. And we are really grateful that you gave your valuable time to us. Our college has successfully conducted several webinars during this lockdown period under the able guidance of our principal, Dr. Santosh Kumar Jha. Now, I would like to invite the principal of the college to say a few words.
Thank you, Vinita. Good afternoon to all. On behalf of the college, I welcome Dr. Kuldeep Singh Patel, today's speaker for this webinar, and all the participants who are attending this webinar. I welcome you all, and I want to congratulate my webinar team and the team members who have arranged this webinar for the students and teachers, and to understand the COVID-19, the impact role of mathematics in COVID-19. So I'm thankful to Dr. Patel that he has given his time for this webinar, and he is here to give his presentation for our benefit. Once again, I welcome you all and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Anil Kumar Rajak to carry forward the program.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to our respected principal sir, Dr. Gyantosh Kumar Jha, webinar committee convener, Dr. Vinita Tuli, ma'am, esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Kuldeep Singh Patel, and dear participants. I, Anil Kumar Rajak, on behalf of Department of Mathematics, ARSD College, welcome you all for the national webinar on role of mathematics in COVID-19, existing literature, outcomes, and challenges in various directions. Strong leadership is the foundation of any institution's success. ARSD has reached new height of success under the guidance of our honorable principal, Sir Dr. Gyantosh Kumar Jha. Your vision, wisdom, and passion for this college is apparent in every action of yours. Thank you, sir, for your support and encouragement and providing us this excellent opportunity. As we all are aware of the current situation that most of the population in the world is bound to live in lockdown due to novel pandemic COVID-19. This pandemic is affecting our everyday life as well as global economic order. So in this difficult scenario, our major concern is to see how mathematics through mathematical models can help us to control the COVID-19 and overcome this situation. So to discuss in details, we have among us Dr. Kuldeep Singh Patel. Dr. Kuldeep Singh Patel is an assistant professor in the Department of Mathematics, IIIT Naya Raipur, Chhattisgarh. He obtained his PhD from Department of Mathematics, IIT Delhi. Before joining IIIT Naya Raipur, he was the postdoctoral fellow at the Department of Mathematics, IISER Pune. He has published several research papers in refereed international journals and international conferences. He is also a member of Indian Mathematical Society. We take this opportunity to thank him and we welcome you again, sir. At the end of the lecture, we have some time of questions and answers. If you wish to ask questions, please put up your questions in chat box or in the comment box of EFB page. Now, to start our lecture, I invite our respected guest speaker, Dr. Kuldeep Singh Patel. Dr. Kuldeep, sir.
Okay, so respected principal, sir, Dr. Vinita madam, convener of webinar committee, Preeti madam, my friend Anil, and other faculty members of ARSD College and across the institutes, and the students who are listening to us. So a very good afternoon to all of you. I wish all of you are safe in your place. So first, I would thank Principal Sir and whole webinar committee to invite me, to give me this chance to speak on this, maybe one of the most important topic of this century, that is COVID-19. So I really thank to everyone for giving me this opportunity, right? So we all be knowing that we are all suffering from this very strange situation, very pandemic situation. So the talk is basically overall, it is a general talk. So I hope that everyone will get something from this talk. So in this talk, the role of mathematics in this pandemic situation is explained. So we'll try to see that how researcher community can help to the humanity in this epidemic situation. So let us start this. The title of my talk is Role of Mathematics in COVID-19. So initially we will see that how the existing literature is doing, what are the outcomes they have provided till now, because it has been for 5 months to struggle with this COVID-19. And then of course, what are the challenges we have still to face, right? So outline of my presentation is basically we'll start with the timeline of various viruses, right? So it is not that first time we are facing some virus. We have already faced. Then the next question is, if we have already faced, what is new and why it is so dangerous this time? So then we will see that, okay, whether mathematics has played a role and how vital this role was in earlier cases. Because this is the hope then. If we have played, if mathematics has played a role, so then we can follow the same path and we can discover some good things in this case also. Then as the talk says, like mathematical model for COVID-19. So we'll review the existing literature. We will try to gain something from this literature. We'll explore some future directions in the coming months that, okay, this can be done. This has already been done. So that would be third part. And fourth is little mathematical. So here only I have included mathematics. So this is particularly for those who are interested in mathematical modeling of this COVID-19 and who are working in this mathematics research area. So I would discuss one particular model, little detail, and why that model requires fractional calculus. I'll discuss in a very brief manner. So, and then of course, what is the impact of COVID-19? So it has impacted us, I mean, at par, but so we cannot discuss everything, but we'll try to discuss those areas, those factors which has completely, maybe we can say, destroyed our economy, right? So that would be the fifth part of our discussion. And then finally, we'll conclude our talk, and I'll provide you some references for the future work, for the more details, and what you can do. So I would start from this timeline. So various viruses from 2000 to 2020. So we can see very clear that in 1999 it came West Nile virus. Then so I'll say few of them which were very harmful to the community. That in 2003 this SARS, and then 2009 everyone is very familiar with this swine flu. It is still there at some places, right? Then in 2014 Ebola came very recently. Then in 2016 Zika came, and 2020 of course this coronavirus. So I mean, we have been suffering from these viruses over the period of time. This I have given only after 2000. It was earlier also, but just to make it clear that, okay, so how it is different from the previous ones, and why so much pain is there in this time. So this list and other details you can find from this web link. I have taken it from there. So in the footnote I have given it. So for more details, one can look at this link. So let us first look at what coronavirus is. I'll tell in very brief, because we have all been listening this from 3 to 4 months on news channel and everywhere in newspaper. So I'll very quickly go, and why I'm doing this coronavirus and other viruses, just to try to understand that how and why mathematics can help us. Why not other factors are working, or why not other factors are that relevant. So how we can help us, maybe a little bit, but we can help. So this is the foundation for that question, right? So the idea is, what is coronavirus? We all have been knowing this from last 4 months that it is a large family of viruses, and the most recent disease from coronavirus is COVID-19, right? And as of now, what we know that the first case was discovered in China, Wuhan, in December 2019. So it is almost 5 months we have been suffering from this. So symptoms we already know. The next point is, how does COVID-19 spread? So it spreads from person to person by inhaling, cough, and all that. So as of now, from this slide, we know that, okay, it spreads. So if a virus spreads, the very first attempt is, how can we stop this spread? So, so many guidelines we have all been seeing from last period, right? So the very first guidelines, what we saw that, okay, general preventive measures for everyone, that how to prevent this spread of this disease. So this all we have been knowing again, right? Wash your hands, maintain distances. But my question from this slide is that, okay, are these measures sufficient? And the immediate answer is no. Because we all been doing this, right? We have all been doing this from last 4 to 5 months, and still we are not able to cope up with this virus. So it is very, very clear that, okay, we cannot prevent this virus, we cannot prevent the spread of this disease by these general preventive measures. So the next option is, of course, medical. If we take some homemade remedies, if it is not working, then we go to the medical shop, right? So next is medical. So medicines to cure COVID-19. So then again, the same questions. Are antibiotics effective in preventing or treating the COVID-19? No, not yet. There's no, I mean, antibiotics are not for viruses. They are for bacterial infections. We all know, right? So then second question is there any medicine or therapy? No. Though government is trying hydroxychloroquine and other things also, but they were not that effective. They are just, I mean, they're doing, right? And there was so much buzz about this HCQ tablets, hydroxychloroquine, but still there is no well-proven thing that, okay, it can cure the COVID-19. Then third is, of course, we are all looking forward to it, that is vaccine. So not yet. Again, the answer is negative. So then no general preventive measures are working, no medicines are working, then what is the viable challenge? What is the doable problem? The problem is, we can understand the dynamics of evolution of COVID-19 and then prepare ourselves accordingly. So here, this is what mathematics comes. So how we can model this evolution of, I mean, how this COVID-19 is progressing. If we can model this, we can understand this, okay, this is how the COVID-19 is progressing. So we can prepare ourselves and we can take preventive measures. Maybe that would be a far better idea rather than just doing it arbitrarily. So we have discussed so many viruses before COVID-19, right? So whether this thought is concurrent with our previous work. What I want to say is that, okay, whether mathematics has helped us in the previous cases. So that we have to look at. Of course, if it has worked, it has helped us in the previous cases, then this time also we can hope for the best. So the idea is, yeah, this is the answer. So the answer is basically, yeah, in case of Ebola virus, so many mathematical studies has been done, and I have taken here very few of them, which are good and which are, I mean, well established. So a mathematical model for Ebola virus was presented by Zhang and al. In 2017, and they have suggested so many, they proposed certain suggestions, and they found so many ways to keep the things in control and to control the regional transmission also, which we are very fear about. I mean, if it is a community transmission or it is a region, then we cannot control, right? So this mathematical modeling has helped us already in the case of Ebola virus. In the same case, in the second part, right? Second part is Burge and al. So they have also worked on this kind of modeling of Ebola virus. And I have highlighted this finite difference scheme. So the people who are working in numerical analysis of mathematics, they can see this paper because it is a numerical scheme, right? So they can, that's why I highlighted this. So they can see this scheme and they can find what are the things we can do similarly for the COVID-19. So these two papers which I have discussed here, they have worked on this Ebola virus. So same, this next is for H1N1, that is swine flu. So again, for mathematical, a mathematical model was presented by Patel and all in for H1N1, right? So H1N, so they studied the dynamics of this epidemiological model and they estimated something. They proved the stability also of that method. So I have given that reference right here. One can note it down. Or I would suggest, I mean, if the organizer to share this PPT if someone wants to work on this. So, and then next, again, I have taken one paper that, okay, Nirvani and Batsa, they have also worked on this swine flu model. And it was very, I mean, numerical simulations were there and they were very efficient. So as of now, at least what we can say that, okay, mathematics have helped us in certain previous cases. And that is the biggest hope this time that, okay, mathematics would again help us in fighting this COVID-19. So this is what the intuition behind this. So now we will see that, okay, how we should proceed for mathematical model of COVID-19. So mathematics may help us in developing this model, and what are the things we are looking for, right? So we are looking for the effect of undetected infected people. I mean, how this is the major challenge for a whole the world, right? Undetected infected people, the people who are infected, but they are not detected. They have not been detected. So they are very dangerous. I mean, they have been very, I mean, challenging, right? So this is one thing which we have to look very carefully in our model, that how we can tackle the effect of these people, because this will affect everything. So second is, of course, effect of different sanitary and infectious conditions in hospitalized people. So the idea is, I mean, those who are in mild condition, those who are in severe condition, right? So who will die and who will supposed to survive. So this is all we have to keep in mind, right? So next is estimation of needs of beds. So this point I have taken because there's one paper who has worked on this, and they have given a very breakthrough result in this direction. So this is also a very good point. So the how, I mean, needs of beds means how many critical patients will be having after maybe 1 month, maybe after 2 months, 3 months, and all that. So we have to think these three things to develop a model, and a model should take care of all these things. So now we'll, as the title says, that role of mathematics. So existing literature. So we'll discuss some existing literature, and there we'll find the role of mathematics very deeply. So the very first literature I would say, and this is very recent paper and very good paper in Elsevier. So they developed a mathematical model based on certain characteristics of this disease. And the best part is the model is also able to estimate the needs of beds. Needs of beds means they have estimated that, okay, this much of patient will be very critical after 2 months or after 1 month. So at least we know, and they have proved that, okay, their results are in a good agreement with the real scenario. So this is a very good paper, I would say. So then they have studied so many behaviors of this disease, and they have compared their result with the real data. And so this is one of the paper which has been carried out very recently on this COVID-19. So I'll not go in very detail about this paper, because since it is a general, I'll go for one of the paper. So for this paper, I would skip it. So one, if you are interested, anyone is interested, he can see this reference I have given already there in the slide. So he can see that. So next is another paper, so which is again recently came in 2020. So this is also about the mathematical use of in modeling this COVID-19. So they have this paper is basically emphasized in China. So they have taken all the cases from China. They have taken everything they did about China, and because it was the origin of this COVID-19. So they did a thorough study, and they compared the results. So this is also a very good paper in this direction. I would say. So another literature, I would say this by this Kucharski, that they have taken some involved something stochastic transmission model, and they have also taken the cases from Wuhan. So they worked on very detailed data set. If you see, so they worked on 4 type of data sets. That okay, first is daily number of new internationally exported cases, and they have taken the time duration. So till 26th of January, they have taken this data set. So second data set was daily number of new cases in Wuhan between in this period from December 1 to January 1, and then daily number of new cases in China from December 29 to January 23rd. So all these cases they have considered in this paper, and they have modeled, and of course the results are very good in this paper. So if anyone is interested, he can see this paper. So now I'll go through which we are going to discuss little bit in detail. So this is another paper on COVID-19. So use of mathematics in COVID-19. So this paper actually tells that, okay, fractional order calculus, this I have highlighted this. So a lot of people are now nowadays interested in fractional calculus, fractional derivative. So I just want to brief little bit that whenever we talk about the modeling of any this virus or any phenomena, we always talk about differential equations. And differential equation, that means there is a derivative, right? So all these models have been involving this in classical derivatives, first order, second order, and all that. But this paper, they said something that, okay, we will model this COVID-19 using fractional derivatives. And then they said that, okay, we solve this using Picard successive approximation. All the mathematical people, I think they are very familiar with this Picard successive approximation and Banach's fixed point theory. So I mean, why I have highlighted this, that, okay, you can see that how this mathematics has played a role to model this fractional order model for COVID-19. So this one paper is basically discussing the fractional derivative for COVID-19, which has not been discussed for earlier viruses, as much as the literature says. Maybe there may be something, but so fractional derivative is now used to model this COVID-19. And of course, this fractional derivative has certain advantages that we will be discussing very soon. So this is why I'm emphasizing this literature, that, okay, in this paper and also in this next paper, this is published one, that was not published one, that is preprint, but this is published one. So Khan and all, they have also again used this fractional derivative to model this COVID-19. So I'll not, because it is a general talk and so many people from various disciplines are joining this talk, I'm not going in very, very detail. If anyone is interested, he can go. But yeah, in case of fractional derivative, I can help. I have been worked on this fractional derivative from, I mean, last 2-3 years. So the idea is this fractional derivative, I'm emphasizing that, okay, this Sek and all and this Khan and all, the both papers were emphasizing the application of fractional derivatives to model this COVID-19. And since this fractional derivative literature is very recent and its advantages are very different from the classical derivative, this can be considered as a good object to go forward to model this COVID-19. So let me very briefly discuss this, what this fractional derivative and why this fractional derivative, in my opinion, is, I mean, people are looking after it. Why not classical derivatives? So I'll go very briefly with this. So we'll see this figure, right? So we all know, all mathematics people know L'Hospital, all mathematics people know Leibniz, right? So he asked that, okay, what will be, he said, Leibniz said that, okay, nth order derivative is dn over dtn. So then L'Hospital asked, what will be if the order is half, right? So it is said that, okay, so first I would say fractional calculus is not a new topic. It happened in 1695. This conversation between Leibniz and L'Hospital, it happened in 1695, and he said that, okay, what will be half? What will happen if n equals to half? So then Leibniz replied that, okay, it will be a good paradox, and from which one day useful consequences will be drawn. So it is very, very old, but recently in last 1 decade, less 10 years, we can see a lot of people are seeing good characteristics of this fractional derivatives, which may be used to model these rigorous phenomena. So some of them are like long memory process. So wherever this memory is involved, wherever is we need that, okay, what the previous data is saying. So for the time being, I would say I'm working in option pricing in finance. So I also need this fractional derivative because we always need the previous data to say anything about the present situation. So the idea is this: whenever this memory process is involved, these fractional derivatives have been proven very good for those models. So for example, in this I have just discussed previously that Khan and Sheikh. So this Atagana-Ballanode fractional derivative they used to model this COVID-19. Why? Because this fractional derivatives, its kernel is not. So I'm not going in detail, but they have explained it in their paper very clearly that why they have used this derivative. So and I will also discuss some properties of this fractional derivative so that you'll be little bit clear that, okay, what is different in fractional derivatives from classical derivatives and why it is so important. And that's how it became so important for this modeling, right? So this is very fundamental book about this fractional differential equation, Podlubny. So if anyone is interested in this fractional differential equation, I would suggest that one can go to this book. So idea is I'll very brief, I'll share some type of fractional derivative. So if you see, there is something called Grunwald-Letnico type derivative. There is something called Riemann-Laville type derivative. So if you see Riemann-Laville type derivative, there is an integration sign. So we know that integration is non-local, right? Differential. So that's why they are called non-local. So it is involving the information. See, if you see the derivative from A to B, right? Function is from A to B. If you see in the Grunwald definition, T belongs to A to B. So it is involving all the information from A to tau. The integration is from A to tau. So that means to define this derivative, you need all the information from the initial point till that point. While in the classical calculus, we don't need this. So here this property of this Riemann-Laville derivative, this is, I mean, not Riemann-Laville, every like Capito also, if you see on the next page. So this non-local property is being proved that, okay, it will help us whenever we required such a modeling where the previous data is very important. So the idea is because of this non-locality, these fractional derivatives have been very important in modeling. So so next two derivatives are this Capito derivative and Riesz type derivative. So if someone is interested in the numerical methods for this fractional calculus, how do we tackle this numerical techniques for this type of derivatives, one can see this book. This is a very wonderful book, recent book in 2015. So I would say one thing here that, okay, so till now what I have found that, okay, this fractional type of derivative has been suggested by various authors to model this COVID-19. So if anyone is interested in modeling these COVID-19, one should look definitely to these research papers, and one can go with these derivatives to model this COVID-19. So this is just a comparison of these fractional derivatives. Why I have given this? Because okay, so all these derivatives, so they have used some different derivative. We can also use some different derivative, because in Sheikh this Capito derivative is used. So the idea is all these derivatives are interrelated to one or other in some other way. So this slide is basically towards that okay, if we read the third point, so the only focus, emphasize in this slide is that, okay, wherever this memory and hereditary properties of various materials is involved, we should always go for fractional derivative. It will be very advantageous for the modeling of these memory based processes. And this is, I mean, in COVID also, we always need the previous data, how it is behaving from last 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So that's maybe this is the reason that why people are very much interested in modeling this COVID-19 by fractional derivative. So this is what I wanted to say about this role of mathematics and existing literature. So existing literature is basically these all works have been done for COVID-19. I said that, okay, one of the paper by in Ivora, so by Ivora, so he proposed very good model, and he even developed that method that how many critical patients will be there after 1 or 2 months. And fractional, so I would suggest all those mathematical people who are listening that, okay, if you are interested in modeling these COVID-19, just read this literature and go towards it. It will definitely help all of us. So then now I will not go in much detail of these papers. So if anyone is interested, he can visit it. So next, of course, this is role and existing literature and outcomes. Also, we have seen that, okay, some papers are saying that they have predicted. So these are the outcomes. But yeah, still there is no major outcome in this direction. So we all have to wait for that. So next is, of course, the impact. So we all are have been looking that, okay, it has impacted us very badly. And so, and since I'm working in finance, so I would only discuss about the impact on finance. So from last 2-3 years, it has also been in news also, right? So our government has announced some packages and some large uh, facilities to the industries. So it has impacted us in a very bad manner. So I'll touch a few issues in those. So the very first, I would say, what are the sectors, right? So if you see impact of COVID-19 on Indian economy, right? So this is the, so this I have taken it from FICCI website. You all know FICCI, right? Federation of Indian Chambers of and Commerce and Industry. So it is so they have published this publication that, okay, what is the effect of this COVID-19 and how we can tackle this. It is a very lengthy paper, and if someone is interested. So why I have focused on such sectors, I'll tell in a while. So demand side impact, suppose, right? So these are the industries: tourism, hospitality, they are worst effect, right? Impact on financial market. We have all been seeing that, okay, Sensex is not going good, and NSE, BSE, they are not doing good. So these are all the problems in this on this Indian economy of created by this COVID-19, right? So but why? So these are the sectors, and why I am emphasizing these sectors. This is very important. So suppose these are the some sectors which I have listed down that, okay, these sectors requires special attention because, excuse me, because of this COVID-19. So every sector is a research problem, and that's why I have noted it down. So the idea is, suppose we don't want to, we are not able to model at COVID-19. So, okay, no problem. We can model the problems in agricultural and food processing by using the mathematical tools. And we can see that, okay, how these problems can be solved. So the idea is basically every sector is a problem. Every sector is a research problem, modeling problem. So if one is not getting good results in modeling the spread, in controlling the spread of COVID-19, no issue. We can also work on each sector that, okay, how we can help this aviation. So, okay, after 1 month, how many passengers will come to this to fly, and after 2 months, how it will be happening, right? So every sector has own problem. And for every sector, mathematical model can help us to do something in that direction, right? So let's take agriculture and food processing. We all have been seeing, right? It is very badly affected. Aviation, it is almost gone, right? From last 2-3 months, nothing is happening. Tourism, it will be no tourism for next 1 year, right? Capital markets, BSE, NSE, I just talked about. E-commerce, totally gone, right? Education is school, we have all been doing this online from last 2 months, right? Entertainment, event, sports, all the closure of cinema halls, everything. So then financial services, fintech. So fintech, I just talked about, right? So our markets have been closed. Private security forces, real estate. So yesterday only government announces that, okay, we will give 6 months relaxation to the construction construction owners to complete the instruction. So construction. So the idea is everything is totally, and government is doing a lot of efforts to save this. So again, I'm making some these sectors, that transport and logistics. So of course, those who have been using this transport and logistics, it is dead. Automobile. So why I have highlighted this MSME? So see, if you are aware about the day before yesterday and yesterday's announcement of Government of India, right? So we can definitely say that okay, what they have focused mostly on this MSME sector. They have arranged so much fund for this MSME sector. So why I have highlighted this, that okay, for this also we can go for certain modeling or any mathematical tool which may help us to define what are the problems there and how it can be tackled. So the idea, the moral of the story for this sectors is that okay, every sector is a problem in terms of mathematics, in terms of mathematical modeling. So and various research is being carried out. So since uh, we have only discussed the spread of COVID-19 and how to tackle the spread of COVID-19, but I would say these problems can also be taken as a challenge, that okay, how a particular sector can be benefited by modeling its problems, by taking the real data, by taking the case to case. So these all sectors are suffering a lot from this COVID-19. So this is what the challenges in the various directions, what we can say. Other literatures I could, I would emphasize that, okay, this is what we have discussed mainly for the Indian point of view, that, okay, these sectors are very much affected by this COVID-19. But there is a very wonderful paper by Baker and all, that unprecedented stock market impact on COVID-19. So if someone is interested in on the world economy, how it has been affected, so we cannot list it down here because it is very vast, right? So I have just given that reference, that okay, one can go to this paper and one can see how it has been affected and how what he or she can contribute in this direction. And one of the seminal paper, I would say, in Nature's, it has been published, that Julia Gog. So she has suggested that, okay, how a modeling can be done for this COVID-19. So the title of that paper is How You Can Help with the COVID-19 Modeling. So this is very, very good paper, I would say. So she has suggested that, okay, how if we are working in this direction, how we can go and we can model, we can prepare a good mathematical model for this COVID-19 to help the community. So I'll conclude my lecture just by saying that, okay, we have seen that, okay, something new this time is happening with the viruses. Never it has happened that so many people have been affected by a virus throughout the world. So we have to come up with the new techniques, new technological tools, and new theories to tackle this problem. And as I have discussed, one new thing is that fractional derivatives has been used for modeling these COVID-19. So that might be considered as a one new technical tool. There are certain technological based tools which should be used. And so overall, we have to, all the research community has to be collectively work towards this problem. And for more details, one can also find the references of these papers. So because then you can get the more details about all these works. So I would say these are the references of my talk. One can see the first is what I talked about, that okay, it is about the impact of COVID-19 in the world, basically, right? Second is the mathematical model for Ebola. If someone, so suppose we want to take some clue how mathematics has helped us earlier, so we can go to this second citation, second reference. So it has helped us in case of Ebola, and in this analogously, we can also work for this COVID-19. So by this J.R. Gog, she has written very beautiful paper in Nature Review Physics, that okay, how one can proceed with the mathematical modeling of COVID-19 if someone is interested in that direction. So by Ivora, I have said that this is one of the fundamental paper till now in case of COVID-19 modeling. It is in very good journal communication of, it is published by Elsevier. So it is a very good paper. I would say one can look at this modeling of this COVID-19. And this Jiang is again about the mathematical modeling of Ebola virus. So, and last one is by, again, this use of fractional derivative for modeling this coronavirus. and other references we have also already discussed. So these all, if someone is interested, he can mail me. I can forward a particular paper or forward a particular thing to him or her. So here I conclude my lecture. Thank you so much for your attentions. I over to Anil Rajak.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful presentation. Now I invite Dr. Preeti ma'am, who will discuss a question answer session. Dr. Preeti ma'am.
Thanks a lot for the interesting talk. Without taking much time, we now take some question answers. Sir, Bhavna Kohli wants to know what is MSME?
Micro, small and medium enterprises. Basically, the industries which are at the micro level or a small level or medium level. So that we usually call this MSME in Government of India language. So I would suggest the listeners to go through yesterday's news and day before yesterday's news. There has been a lot discussed about how we can excel this MSME sector, MSME segment. So this is micro, is small and medium enterprises.
Next question, he wants to know what factor affect fractional method.
Pardon, what sector?
What factor affect fractional methods? You have discussed about fractional method.
Yeah.
So he want to know what is the contribution of fractional method into it.
See, a fractional method, ma'am, I have discussed only for to tackle the to control the spread. I have not discussed fractional method to discuss particular sector. That's what I'm saying. So till now, what we have discussed is how to control this spread. That has been done by using this fractional calculus. But one can also use this fractional calculus to tackle the problem of every sector.
Thank you, sir. Another question is from Sachin Jakhar. He wants to know what mathematical tools can we use to minimize the spread of COVID-19? Can we model it as an optimization problem? If yes, what are the key factors in doing so?
See, first thing I would say, optimization technique, I'm not sure that we can do because we don't have any literature till now. So we have only one paper, right? So we minimize anything if we have certain data with us. Then only we can minimize it. We don't have in our hand anything. So first we have to model it accurately. Then after this, I think we can go for this as an optimization problem.
So next question is from Sumit Saha. He wanted to know what should we use in modeling to see the impact of asymptomatic infected population.
Yeah, that is the biggest challenge, because we have all been listening this news that okay, the people is not showing any symptoms and still he is having this coronavirus, right? So this is a good challenge, and no one has even talked about it. One paper is there only which talks about it, that okay, we have taken that okay, if person is asymptotic, he is not showing any symptoms, still he may have that disease. So I would say for this question that okay, it can be modeled, though it cannot be perfectly modeled because it is very tough, because a person is not showing symptoms. But yeah, still people are working in this direction and using that fractional derivative technique, and hope they will do something concrete in this direction.
So can we apply delay differential equations in modeling COVID-19?
See, till now we have not seen any literature in this direction about delay differential equation, right? So, and So I cannot say yes or no at the right now, but yeah, till now we have not seen any literature. And the problem with delay differential equation would be, time is involved there also, and time is involved here also. And that's because of that time factor, people are using this fractional derivative. So it is hard to say anything yes or no at this time. Maybe we have to read a little more about this modeling of this factor.
Sir, next question comes from Neha Gupta. She wants to know how a mathematical modeling can help in prevention of COVID-19.
So you see, this is what we have been discussing in this Ivora paper, Sri, right? So what Ivora paper said that, okay, we have developed a model that can tell how many critical patients would be there after 2 months. So we can plan ourselves accordingly, right? Or how this undetected infected people will impact detected infected people, right? This all things have been considered in that paper. So this is how it is one another way it is helping us directly or indirectly, because it is telling us that, okay, if you cannot control it, you should be prepared with this much number of beds in future. So this is what mathematical modeling is doing right now, as of now, what we have in our hand till now.
Sir, there are many queries which are asking.
Sir, there are many queries from many people. They want to know from where we can get these papers.
One thing is that they can see, almost I have taken all these papers are open access, so they can search this title and they can get it. So I have not used any specific paper because these are all COVID related papers. So all COVID related papers are now open access. So one can search the title, one can, he will definitely get it. If they are not getting, they may mail me, I'll forward it.
Sir, our next question is from Sumit Saha. Is there any literature where I can find some data regarding COVID-19, particularly from India?
See, for India, you have to rely on government websites, because private data, you cannot get it. No one is having it, right? So for data collection, of course, it is always a challenge, right? So you have to look at the government websites or certain medical firms to get the real data, because real data is not easy to get.
So we have many questions by our engaged participants.
Yeah.
But now I can take only 2 more questions. There is a question from how to use mathematical modeling tools for mathematical modeling in prevention of COVID-19.
I think, ma'am, we have been discussing this from, this talk that, okay, so this is what the talk was based on, that, okay, how we can control the spread. That was the key question in this talk, that, okay, how, see, we have not discussed anything about how do we develop vaccine or how do we develop medical cure. This was the only question that I have said, that, okay, the viable challenges, because the general preventions are not working, because the medical is not working. So the only thing what we can do is we can model this COVID-19 in a good way, and we can prepare ourselves accordingly. So this fractional derivative approach or any other approach what we have been discussing, so this is only to control this spread of this COVID-19. Because mathematicians cannot provide a vaccine, what I feel.
It's my privilege now to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Preeti Jain, on behalf of Department of Mathematics, ARSD College, extend a very heartfelt gratitude to the esteemed speaker for sharing a very insightful webinar underscoring the role of mathematics in COVID-19. I take this opportunity to extend our most sincere thanks to all our participants. Last but not the least, I thank our principal, Dr. Gyanatosh Kumar Jha, for always extending his kind support and initiating the webinar series. I'm also thankful to the faculty members, to the department for their efforts and cooperation. Thank you, everyone. Now I hand over the mic to Ravinder.
Hello.
Yeah, Ravinder.
It was a very nice talk, sir. Very informative.
Thank you.
Vinita ma'am, are you there? Vinita ma'am? Okay, so she might be having some technical outage.
Okay.
So I request our principal sir, Dr. Jha, principal sir, please share your thoughts and wind this program.
Dr. Patel, for your insightful and informative session.
Thank you, sir.
You have presented a very in very wonderful manner on the subject, and we all have been benefited. Thank you so much. Ravinder, please close the session. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.